Well, Teresa Giudice is one of the stars of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, but for this past year, she was also known as inmate number 65703-050. Giudice recently returned home after spending 11 and a half months in prison for tax fraud, and she writes about it all in her memoir, Turning the Tables. And in our last hour, we showed you our conversation back at home in New Jersey. Now Teresa is with us for her first live TV interview since her release. Welcome.
Thank you.
And it's a big deal today because you actually get to leave your home. You were under house arrest, even though you returned back in December. This is really the first time you're getting out. How does it feel to really be free?
It feels great. It feels great to be home with my daughters, with my husband. And I mean, even though I was on house arrest, I was able to do things, but I just had to, I had to let my probation officer know where, what I was doing.
Now you can go anywhere you want.
Now I don't have to, there's no schedule. I could take my kids, to all their activities, because that was my biggest thing. Like, I just wanted to drive them to all their activities.
You want to be back to being full-time mom.
Like last night, I didn't get home till like past 8.
And that was like
driving
a big deal?
them all over. Yeah.
Woo, all right.
Call me Miss Taxi.
Part of your sentence was to pay back the more than $400,000 you owed in restitution. In addition, your house at one point was in foreclosure. Tell me what your financial situation is right now.
Restitution's paid off. My house is not in foreclosure anymore, thank God. And, everything's good.
In your book, you write about how difficult it was for you to leave your 4 daughters at home. And we asked our viewers to send us questions for you. And Natalie asked, what lesson will you teach your daughters about your experience?
Before you sign something, make sure you completely understand it and read everything.
I know that before you left for Danbury, you told your younger girls that you were going away to write a book. You didn't explain to them that you were going to prison. What will you tell them about their dad leaving? Joe is going to spend the next 3.5 years behind bars. He leaves next month. Will you tell them that their father is going to jail?
No. We said, Mommy's going to go to work first. And, I told them that Mommy was going to write a book, and I had to live at camp, which I call prison, which is prison, obviously. And I had to, go through the experience, and that's what Mommy was writing about. And then we said, when Mommy comes home, then Daddy's going to go to work.
Yeah. I know that Joe is your childhood sweetheart. I'm curious how this experience impacted your marriage. You said don't sign anything that you don't read first. Do you in any way blame Joe for what happened to you?
No, I don't. No, there was legal people around us also when I signed those papers, and something that happened, and I'm not going to look back. I'm just going to move forward and look at the future.
What impact has this all had on your marriage?
If anything, really, it's made it stronger. It really has. And we've been married 16 years, and it's going strong.
So you've been home for a little over a month now. After you got home and hugged your family and did what was important, I want to know, what was the first luxury you treated yourself to that you had been denied when you were in prison?
Just spending time with my daughters. That's it. That's all I wanted to do, and spend time with Joe.
That makes a lot of sense. What were the things that you, other than your daughters, dreaded most about prison, what you would have to live without?
Being there?
Yeah.
Just my daughters and Joe. I didn't care about the food. I didn't care about anything. Yeah, I didn't care. I didn't care about clothes, and I was fine. Not wearing makeup every day. I just missed my daughters. They're my life. I live for them. It's like, it's like amazing. Like, after you give birth, it's like, you can't live without them.
And yet you had to for 11 and a half months. How did you pass the time? We heard in our piece when we sat down, you talked about you had a job in the kitchen, but you also had a lot of other free time on your hand. What did you do?
I worked out 3 times a day. I did yoga. Yoga changed my life. I'm going to get certified in yoga. I just went to my first class. I did a lot of Pilates. I did a lot of running. So we had a great track. Thank God for that. We were able to go outside.
And you actually, a lot of this will be detailed in the 7th season of Real Housewives.
Yes.
So what will we see in terms of the impact it had on you? How much will you show the cameras about your experience these past 11 months?
I'm an open book, so I'm gonna share my whole life. And when you read my book, you'll see that everyone's gonna get to know me from my upbringing to to my 20s, to when I got married, to when I gave birth. And how it was when I was away, and and being on Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Well, I know something you can clear up right now because there's been a lot of controversy about how to pronounce your last name.
Okay.
Okay. So we're all supposed to call you Teresa Giudice, right?
Giudice.
Not Giudice.
I mean, that's the Italian way, but nobody knows how to say it. I mean, you know how to say it, but you know what? Joe and I are fine with saying Giudice.
So it's Teresa and Joe Giudice.
Correct.
All right, we've set the record straight there. Thank you so much, Teresa, for
Thank
joining us. Turning the Tables is available now.